Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Hip-hop and R&B star Ashanti is publishing a new children's book called My Name is a Story. She joined me to discuss how she hopes her book will encourage kids to be themselves, as well as sharing a few memories of her hit songs. Hey, Ashanti, thanks so much for joining us on WTOP in Washington, D.C.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. We should let our audiences know we're here to talk your new children's book. It's called My Name is a Story, about a girl who learns to love her unique name. Now, tell our listeners it's a little autobiographical, right? Based on something you experienced.
Yes, absolutely. Just growing up with a different name, sometimes I felt a little like, well, how come my name is different than hers? I just remember being in circle time, in grade school, and the teacher doing roll call, and she calls out this one, she gets to my name, and there's a little bit of hesitance, and someone will look at me and be like, well, why does her name sound like that? And how come her name isn't just like Beth or and I just remember that feeling, so it definitely comes from a real place. And I think my message is just to uplift and encourage kids with a unique name to embrace it and feel empowered and to love it.
That's so great. You have no idea how many young girls and boys that you're going to inspire and, comfort with this sort of thing. So without spoiling too much about the plot of the book, but explain sort of for moms and dads listening out there, grandparents maybe raising kids, just explain how you use the different letter in your name. This stands for this stands for this, to break down the name as something fun.
Oh, I love that section. I feel like it's something that speaks volumes, and it's kind of like something to just describe yourself, describe the empowerment, describe feeling confident and saying, hey, this is why my name is unique and different. The A, the S means this, the H means this, and it's kind of even instilling in yourself just that strength and that power and that confidence, so I think that's a really cool exercise, for parents or grandparents, like you said, for anyone to do with the kids, and it gets them involved, you know what I mean? And it resonates so much more, because when they can stand up and say, well, this is why you have to say my name right, because
you can't leave out any of the important words. Yeah. Rattle through it really quick. Tell us what the Ashanti of Ashanti stands for in the book.
Well, what I can say is my name originates from Ghana, and it means woman of strength. And what's really cool is that, sometimes when we travel outside of the States and we get to foreign countries, sometimes the women are kind of considered a little bit lower on the totem pole. Mm-hmm. But in this specific tribe of people, the women run things, you know what I mean? So it just means women of strength. And when I found that out, I was like, yes, I'm going to do that, I mean, I have it here, if you really did want me to go down, the easy like apple pie. S is for strong, high is for high five. My name is no mere accessory. Saying my name with power is necessary. My name is a treasure that is infinite.
I love it. Thanks for doing that. Hey, when you were growing up, did you have favorite storybooks? What was it? I don't know, Dr. Seuss, or what was it with you growing up?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Let me think about some of my favorites. You know what? There was a book, and this is the funny thing. My aunt, she actually used to buy me books that had my name in it. There's like an Ashanti story. There's a story about a spider named Anansi. There's a story called
I love Anansi the spider.
Yeah, so those were some of we all love the Dr. Seuss books as well, but those were some of my favorite books.
Great. Now, it's got to be cool that, people that are going to be reading this to their kids, a lot of the parents now grew up, listening to your music. So it's kind of cool how, your audience is following through different stages of your career, different mediums even. While we have you here, I know their time is tight, but just memories of, some of those big songs, Foolish, that was a really big hit single. And then I know you followed it up with Always on Time with Ja Rule. Tell me about Always on Time. I'll always remember that one.
Just classic records, it's a beautiful thing that even 20 years later, I'm celebrating 20 years, my anniversary from my debut. the fact that we can go and do these arenas and have people screaming out these records and singing all the lyrics to these songs is really a magical moment. It's priceless, and I'm super humbled and super blessed, to be able to do that. You can just hold the microphone out and people are just, singing these records that I wrote, so it just feels really good, and the fact that I have new music coming out, very excited about that. I have a new single called Falling for You that was written by myself and Blue. I can't wait for people to hear it. I've been playing like snippets on my Instagram, and my DJ's been spinning it after my shows, and the reaction has been incredible. So very excited about that.
And what's the new one called again? Plug it again.
It's called Falling for You.
Falling for You. Okay, everybody check that out.
Yeah.
What was it like working with Fat Joe on What's Love versus, I know you did Always on Time and Mesmerized with Ja Rule, but compare and contrast those two experiences if you could.
It was very different because let me see, was I in the studio with Ja? I think Ja was in the studio, but remember, we didn't know each other early on, right. So it was kind of just like, oh, okay, that's the girl.
Right.
For me, because they were out already. But I just remember feeling like I have a bunch of big brothers that were really excited, you know what I mean? And we were just making some awesome music.
Awesome. And then talk about some of that before we run some of the, you've also dabbled in some acting in some movies. I guess the first one that pops to my mind is Coach Carter, of course, with the legendary Samuel L. Jackson. What did you pick up? Any acting tips from him?
It was an amazing experience. He was super welcoming, with me. And what I love that he said to me was, I love that you take this serious, because, sometimes musicians don't get the best rap transitioning over into acting, so he really respected and appreciated that I was taking this very serious. With everything going on with me at that time, my album was out, I'm shooting music videos, I'm touring and all of that, but I carved out the time, to do this movie. And I think he really respected that I was taking it serious.
That's the name of the game. All right. Well, full circle in our final seconds. We'll bring it back around to your book. My Name Is a Story. You mentioned it a little earlier, but just remind us the takeaway when parents pick this up for their kids. What do you want the kids to take away from this story? How do you hope to inspire them?
I want kids to feel so empowered. I want them to be happy. I want them to feel confident about being different and unique. And I want the kids that don't necessarily have a unique name to embrace it as well, and to be open-minded. And just because something is different doesn't mean that it's wrong or it's bad, So I think there's an opportunity for everyone to kind of learn that, listen, have an open mind, and being different is a good thing.
Oh, that's such a good point. I'm glad that you mentioned it. That's for other students who, when the teacher's going down the roll call to, embrace unique names, and that's a good point. I never thought about it. I always thought about it as for the kid who's feeling self-conscious, but it's just as much for the other kids. Like, let's stop the bullying. Let's embrace and all the differences. That's a good point. I love that. Well, great. Thank you so much for joining us, Ashanti. Again, it is called My Name Is a Story. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.